All righty. So stop sharing my screen here. Hey, everybody. Good evening, beloveds. Thank you for joining us. Happy Friday. Happy January 5th, 2024. Happy New Year. I am super excited about tonight's live. If you're new here, you know I am. If you're new here, you don't know. I am Danny of Natural LID, and tonight we're going to be talking about with a very special guest that I have. This is an impromptu live with a wonderful lady I met recently, talking about mindset coaching, and we're going to talk about aromatherapy. We're going to mesh the two and show you how we can help high-pressure professionals, right, doing your thing each and every day with holistic modalities. So I welcome each and every one of you here. Again, Happy New Year. I those who watch the replay, thank you so very much for being here. And we're going to get started, all right? Again, I'm super excited about sharing our special guest tonight. And I think I started to say or have already said I'm Danny, a social worker and aromatherapist. And I'm on a mission to simplify wellness, y'all, to help with the use of essential oils and any and all holistic modalities that may be helpful. Because I always sprinkle a little bit of something in there, right? Be it about food or healthy lifestyle or something of the such. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on our special guest. While I introduce her first, she's absolutely wonderful. And I don't want to mishap about what she does and how she does it. And I'm sitting here Looking for my notes, of course. You know what? I'm going to bring her to the stage. I'm going to introduce to you Miss Elsa Nelson. She is a wonderful holistic practitioner, and I just want you to hear it from. I'm going to read you a little bit about her intro, right? So, Elsa Nelson and her story unfolds in Eritrea, and correct me if I'm wrong when you come on stage, Elsa, to finding sanctuary in the USA, escaping the brutalities of war. She navigated through the foster care system until the age of 18, and she emerged as not a victim, but as a tenacious fighter. She's steadfast in refusing to be defined by adversity. A turning point came for her in 2013, where a job loss rendered her homeless. This pivotal moment ignited a passion for service and a determination to make a difference. Today, she offers a spectrum of wellness program meticulously tailored to address diverse challenges in the individual faces. Her philosophy centers on empowering everyone to carve their unique path to wellness, recognizing the multidimensional nature of personal growth. And her volunteering has led her to what she does today. And she's known in circles as the go to expert and holistic resource for mental health and overall wellness. So, without further ado, I would like to bring Elsa Nelson to the stage. If everybody can help me to clap for her, y'all. Hey. Hi, Elsa. How are you, dear?
I'm well, Danny. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure to have you. It's so wonderful, and like I said in the intro, y'all, I recently just met this beautiful soul. Literally, right? But how long we've known each other?
Oh my God, it seems forever, but I guess because we've been going back and forth a lot. So, oh my goodness, has it been a week or?
A week, a week, maybe a week or
I
something
don't
like
know,
that.
maybe something like that. Yeah,
And
definitely
so,
think
but if anybody knows me, once I meet someone and we click and collaborate, it's on and popping. I don't need much time. It's like, okay, let's do this, right?
yes,
I say, let's do an impromptu live. She's like, yes. So that's my girl. We
yeah,
can do this. If you're willing to make it happen, I'm willing to be there. All right. So
definitely.
thank you.
Oh
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. My pleasure. I want to say hi to our audience tonight. Hi, Black Women Build Well. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Oh, awesome.
Oh.
So we're going to get right into it. I said a little bit about your background. You want to elaborate on it a little bit about what you're doing today?
Yes, certainly. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. Just, oh my God. Yeah, I'm Elsa, and I was born in Eritrea. And I came around at the age of 12 to the US, and my family, we fled war, etc. So here I am, right, with you guys. And so, in terms of what I do, is I specialize in mindset. Uh, just being able to navigate through situation, considering coming from a different country, having to adjust different language, different culture, just the environment. Everything was just totally different for me.
Okay.
Like absolutely incredibly just different. In Africa, as many of you know, it's a different lifestyle. We have a different language, different culture, etc. When I arrived to the US, my mother was a single mom,
Okay.
and there was a lot of stress
Hmm.
going on, and that was something new to me because where I was raised, everything was just chill and calm and easy paid,
Okay.
just easy peasy. And
Right.
so it was just a lot trying to understand and trying to navigate through the system.
Hmm.
And my mom became very abusive, not that because she was a bad person, but it was just a lot of stress.
Okay. Okay.
Very young. She had me at a young age.
Okay.
And so when I arrived, I would say she was like maybe in her 30s or so. And here it is, all of a sudden, she has a 12-year-old child and she doesn't know what to do with it. So
Right.
it was just a really challenging time for all of us. Like I said, she was a single mom and just life. So she took a lot of that pressure out on me.
Okay.
So I was taken away from her. And at that time, I didn't speak English. So when I was taken into the foster care, I had no idea what was happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just like what they do back home when two people have argument or disagreement. What they do is they separate them for a little while till things cool down and everyone come together.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the case for me. I waited for that day, but that day never arrived or never came.
Okay.
So in that process, I just began to uh, just trying to absorb everything, what is happening. And once I realized I wasn't going back home, um, so I decided like I have to try to survive in this world, in this new land, a foreign land at that. So, and that's what I did. So I began to read, study, etc., and just honestly, it was just when I first arrived to the US, I had no idea there were Black people. There were people that looked like me. I always thought it was a European country. That
Mm-hmm.
was the one thing. Yeah. Because in Africa, at the time, it's just Europe, it was just considered all Caucasian, and Africa was just all Black people. That was my understanding.
Okay.
So once I arrived here and I saw there were, people that looked like me, they were Black, I was just like, wow, I was really fascinated. But I was really even more fascinated that they spoke English and I didn't.
Okay.
So, and so I wanted to know more about that and just the different culture and things of that sort. So as I'm traveling through that path, it's when I started just looking within myself. Who am I?
Yes.
Like, who am I? Like it just life is just like in this big world, and I don't know what to do. So it's when I began to read and research, and just got to know who I am and just people. I delved into like different religion because I couldn't understand why there's so many different religion.
Mm-hmm.
I really couldn't. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's only one God because from where I came from, first of all, it was just all Africans, which is all Eritrean Black people, right?
Right.
So, but in here I came and there's like you have different language. You have Buddha, you have Christianity, Krishna, or Muslims, and all these different 5%ers. So I began to delve into that a little bit. And then I came to realize, wait a minute, everyone's looking for the same thing. They're looking for God at the end of the day, no matter what they call it, no matter if they call it Allah, no matter Buddha, whatever. Everyone's looking to get a piece of their heaven. So I took that as that was just a vehicle that someone is trying to get somewhere, to become a better person, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
you know um so that's when I began to explore books and psychology, what makes people, the difference in people behavior more so than anything. I wanted to know why people behaved a different way, why certain people behave this way, why some people are so rude and people
Mm-hmm.
like them, and why some people are so not authentic, why they weren't very real. They see you, they smile, and they say hey, and then the moment you walk away, the smile just disappear. It's like,
Mm.
what's going on? So it was through that process that I
Okay.
began to explore, got to psychology, etc., holistic, like oils, which like you do, which I love, aromatherapy and things of that sort. So yeah, so yeah.
So fast forward to today, you were going through that process and you now have a
So now, yes,
go
so
ahead.
yeah, so now I have I do. I'm a coach. I'm a life coach, and mindset specifically. But I coach in different areas because I understand. I understand human nature. I've been studying for over 30 years, so I completely get that. I completely understand myself. So therefore, that allows me to help individuals, just no matter where they are, to help them make that shift, to pivot. Because it all begins in our thought.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the way we think.
Mhm.
It's the way we view the world. It's how. what lens are we looking at it?
Mhm.
So in my case, I had a choice. I could be a victim, like, my mother didn't love me, I'm foster care. I had a lot of reasons to, and they would have been valid.
Mhm.
But there was another side that said too that I can um, learn, I can grow, I can change my mindset. Just I started applying everything I was learning.
Mhm.
And by doing that, I've learned that we can all do that, no matter where we are in our current situation. No
Right.
matter whether it's health, whether it's our finances, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So do it. It's
Right.
the way we look at it. There was a quote that I really love, and that is, a man who says or anyone, a man or woman, it doesn't matter, who says he can or who can't, are both equally right.
Say
So
that
a
again. Say
man
that
who
again.
So a woman who says she can, or a woman who says she can't, cannot, in other words, are both equally right.
All right.
So,
Absolutely.
and that's so profound to me, because if that means if I say something, I can do it, it means I can do it.
Mhm.
And if I say I can't, that also means I can't.
All right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. You're getting some amens and true in the chat. I want to say hello to some more of our audience. Hi, Sean. Meet Sean. Thank you for being here. She said that is true what you just said. And I think in response to people are like that because they don't know God. Okay. When you were talking about people walk past you and smile at you, and then that smile leaves once they leave you. So I understand. The last comment, she said, that's right, it's only one God. So I thank you for those comments or what have you, keeping it light, keeping it spiritual. Definitely welcome the comments, and thank you for sharing your journey and your path on how you got to what you're doing today. And I thank you so much for mentioning about mindset, right? Because as a social worker, 20 plus years, y'all, and counting, I find that coming across individuals and families just the same way, not knowing what to do. They're presenting to you with their current situations, but as a social worker, and you probably know, definitely as a coach, people are coming to you with more than what they're presenting you with,
mhm,
meaning there's a history behind, and there's a lot of experiences that led them to the point where they come to see you, or they're talking to you, and for which they operate right currently. And then in your mindset work, you work on that operational system that may not be working for them right now, right? So it's similarities in that. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring to you today, we're going to talk about that mindset and working with individuals. And in this day and age, one of the common things or threads me and Elsa was talking about is stress, right? Stress brings a lot of customers that I see, or people or families that I serve, and perhaps thinking stressfully, right? In coaching situations or clients that you may have who don't know what to do. So they're looking to you to help to motivate them and get them out of their headspace about what's possible, right?
right,
Just
right.
like that. So with that being said, you touched on it. Your current mindset influences the way you perceive and manage your. How does your mindset influence the way you perceive or manage stress in our lives?
Well, it's the way we perceive it, the way we perceive everything's perception, right? And
Mm-hmm.
every perception is valid.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so every it's it's valid and it's relevant,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the way we interpret everything. So what does that mean to me? So for example, for me, as I mentioned earlier, I it was several ways I could have taken that. I don't have a mom. Look what life has dealt me, just lemons basically, So it's like, how do I turn that into something positive? It's like, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want out of my life? I have to decide that and within myself.
Mm-hmm.
basically. It's like, what do I really want in life? What is more important to me? What are my values? What do I value?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand? So by understanding that,
Mm-hmm.
and when stress comes about, because see, let me just say this real quick. So stress is the code word for fear, really.
Mm.
That's what
Okay.
it's all about. So if you ask somebody, hey, what are you stressed about? It's like, really, what do I might fail, or I'm not good enough, or, there's that answer that comes behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So stress is just a code word for fear.
Mm.
That's what's the basis.
Mm-hmm.
So, so oftentimes people are afraid that they're not good enough, or they may not be accepted, or they may not, um, they don't know how things is going to turn out. So that creates stress within the body or within the mind. So if we begin to move from within that, say, for example, what I mean by that is, if something is very stressful and we don't stop and breathe in that moment,
Mm.
it creates like a loop, and you just keep going. It gets momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And once it gets momentum, then we're making decisions. And that decision,
Mm.
when we're under stress, oftentimes it serves us, but it does not serve us well.
Right.
Yeah. So stress is just, like I said, it's a code word for fear. So when I used to feel like stress, I would really just pay attention to what's happening in my body.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
What am I feeling? What is going on? What is happening? And sometimes it's really difficult to do that in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's it's just about being aware of that. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thank you for you got some comments in the chat. Meek Sean says, and being a social worker slash coach, you see what is behind what they are saying. Absolutely. Um, you understand again, the person presents to you more than what they're saying at the moment. And like you mentioned about stress, um, Elsa, you understand that people's psychology or mind, what they're thinking is presenting the fear, right? Which is presenting the stress. So most definitely. So thank you for that comment. She
Yes, if
also,
I may add, so
sure.
I just want to say, so as human beings, all of us in this group called humanity, we have 6 needs. This is not a want. This is not a desire. This is a need. Like, we need air, we need water. Yes. So number one is certainty. We all need to feel certain.
Okay.
Certainty in terms of, we need, that we have a place to live, that we have a job, that we can pay our bills, etc. So that part we need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's certainty. And on the flip side of that, we need uncertainty. And what does that look like? Well, variety, we can say, diversity. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we're certain about everything, then it becomes boring after a while, because everything's predictable at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's too predictable. So we need that variety, that uncertainty, which creates growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the third one is, we need to feel significance.
All
What is
right,
that?
yeah.
We need to feel important. We need to feel needed. We need to feel appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So we need that. And
Okay.
the fourth one is, we need love and connection.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
What does that look like? So oftentimes, I'm sure, when we come across something, information or cute meme or whatever it may be, what's the first thing that we do? We share it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing we do, is we share. That's our nature. So that's the fourth. And number fifth is growth. We have to grow.
All
So
right.
if something either is growing or is dying. That's just the way nature is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the sixth is contribution. We need to be able to contribute outside of ourselves. So you notice in all of these 6 needs, there's not one mention of money. So oftentimes people think, oh, I gotta have money to be happy, but no, not really. It's just these 6 needs that we need as human beings. So if we're always doing something to meet one of these needs,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really identifying which of these needs are we trying to meet.
Mm.
Yeah. So a person's behavior is always motivated out of one of those 6.
All
That makes
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Can you break those down for us? Just the names you said: uncertainty,
So we
certainty.
have, so the first one is certainty,
Okay.
and the second one is uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
which means diverse, right?
Right.
Or variety.
Mm-hmm.
The third is to feel significance,
Okay.
that I matter, that I am important.
Okay.
Number four is
Uh-huh.
love and connection.
All right. Okay.
Number five is growth.
All right. You
And
heard it
number
from
six is contribution.
contribution. All right.
So
You,
these are, yeah, so these are our needs. Like, no matter what we're doing, no matter how we're operating, we're always looking to meet one of those needs.
all right. Let's hear what you have to say about that in the comments, y'all. She laid it out for us. Or another comment. Exactly. Your mindset determines your entire walk. Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that. Black Women Bill Well says, interesting. The relationship between fear and stress makes sense. Yes. Let's say, meet Sean. She says, what I've learned is being totally honest with myself. I get a positive outcome every time. All right. The negative is what leads us away from the goal. Ooh, the negative leads us away from the goal.
Mhm.
That's, that's true. That can definitely take away from focusing on the goal, right? Because you're too busy focusing on what's not working or the bad impact or whatever the case might be. But if you're, what is the expression of looking at the glass half full or half empty?
Mhm.
You know, it depends on your perspective and how you look at it and how you go forward from there, right? Thank you for those comments. So that being said, what contributes, like, how do you see people handling stress? You, like, what do you see as specific aspects of your mindset that contribute to you effectively handling stress, or challenges that you may see people dealing with stress or working through it?
Yeah, so everyone is different, obviously, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
all deal with it differently. You know, for me, I deal with it through breathing. When you start to feel like, because life, I mean, there's going to be a stress. It's fear, flight. It's there. It's not something we can escape it, but it's just how we handle it, right?
Right.
So for me, it's by breathing, and that brings me
Mm-hmm.
back to that moment, because then my mind, it gets quiet. And the same thing I recommend to my clients is just, it's about being present. Really, it's about being in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So by being in the moment, it allows us to really calm the chatter in the mind, the what I call the gotta, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this.
Right.
It just kind of calms that down. um wh- by breathing for me. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. You, however it works for you, and how do you deal with stress? For those of you who are watching, how do you manage stress when it comes up in your life? And I will say, I do what you mentioned about breathing, and most recently, um, well, I say, let me back up. I recently learned about doing mindfulness. So was it last September, y'all? I do so much. Last September, I finished a mindfulness course, right? It was an 8-week course. If any of you have been through a mindfulness um, curriculum, so to speak, and learning how to be in the present moment, learning how to stop, take inventory of why you're feeling the way that you are, right? And focusing on your breathing, focusing on, sensations in your body from your head to your toes, and just really stopping and refocusing and regrouping, right? From the stories that we're playing in our mind, because stress can bring on those stories. Elsa, we've talked about that. We'll get stories going related to stress and to fear. We done had a casting call. We done casted the character. We done wrote the script. We done had the ending, and the credits are rolling, y'all. And ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That we done made up in our mind based on situations. And so that mindfulness piece has helped me to, it ain't about all that. And coupled with my aromatherapy, which I had learned prior to, I've learned how to marry the two in order to say, okay, take that present moment. And I know what else that can help with me, and that's having that aroma that brings me to a state of relaxation. I've talked about this on this channel about essential oils that help with relaxation. So offering different modalities here, audience, about how to deal with stress and stress management, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think aromatherapy, which, I'm a huge fan of that as well.
Yes.
It changes your mood, I think, of the space. I mean, we talked about my favorite scents, etc. But it does bring in that in your space. It creates that freshness that it helps shifts with the mind. In my belief, I believe that,
Right.
because it's the moment you take a whiff of that, the aromatic, just the fragrance, it just completely just changes your state of mind. And it's, for me, it's easier to just get a whiff that and it's like, wow, this smells really delicious, it really does. Like orange, my favorite is citrus, but like especially like the orange or the lavender, it's just such a very calming. And just by focusing on that, being mindful, like you mentioned, or being um, just being mindful of that, I
Yeah.
think this helps calm us down. It's And if I have to picture that, it would look like, when you have a muddy water and you just like stir it and it just sit it down and just allow it. It just allows it to just like calm down, and
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
It
You know,
is. It
yeah.
is. And can I say this? If you're a person who works with the public on a regular basis, or you work in what I could mention, high pressure jobs such as social work or anything of the like, because stress can be for any type of job. Um, but you as a practitioner or a person, a civil servant such as I am, anybody who's in a space where it can be stressful when you're serving, you need something.
Hmm.
You're not immune. In other words, you're not immune to the stress and having to work it out. Just because you're a professional such as yourself and me doesn't mean that you have it all together.
Hmm.
You have to have your source of um, modality or tools in your toolbox in order to deal with and work with everyday life and everything that you're doing and how you're showing up in service. So I thank you for sharing that. And I mentioned about aromatherapy. And that's what I'm passionate about. It's just because I know professionals such as you and myself who you have a practice, for example, or if you're working with individuals, you need something not only for yourself, but also perhaps to complement the services that you provide, right? I mean, you'll usually, just in general, as a practitioner, you get to know the families, or families and individuals, you have an assessment, you set goals, right? You revisit those goals as you're working through them. And then, but your clients are not always with you.
Hmm.
So they need something else to go along with, or to help them while they're not with you, or with another tool in their toolbox they can help themselves. And that's where I'm so glad that you mentioned about the aromatherapy. It's another tool. Not that that's the only tool, but that's definitely one that is um, immediate, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's also journaling.
Yes.
I
Thank you.
I definitely like recommend journaling for some of my clients, because oftentimes, and it's interesting, like when we write something and then we go back and reread it, it just gives us a different perspective. So that's always good to look at as well.
Mhm.
Um, so journaling is another awesome way, an awesome tool to have as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. A high proponent of journaling. I've been doing that before I even knew what I was doing, writing down stuff. Like one of my journals here on the
Yeah.
shelf. But just writing out thoughts, and was more of an exercise of writing something out that you didn't feel good about, or you might be mad at something or mad to, and you bottle up and you throw away to get rid of it. But that's a form of journaling, although I didn't keep it. So, but yes, journaling is another form of managing stress and perhaps offering for those of us who serve to help our clients. So I thank you for bringing that up.
Or
We
even
got,
music
go.
as well, like uplifting.
Oh, yes.
I like for me that was a huge thing. Just music, anything to change my state of mind. It could be just like, could be aromatherapy, it could be music, it could be journaling, it could be walking, or it could just be doing something physiology. And I think so. Here's the thing. I do this with my clients sometimes. Like oftentimes, for example, when a person is depressed or
Mhm.
whatever it is, they have. So let me ask you guys this. So if I was to ask you to describe to me what a depressed person looks like, would you be able to describe it to me?
Mm.
Like I
Okay.
would. So of course you would. Of course you would. So if I would ask you, how's the head positioned? You say down. What's the shoulder? Is it straight backward or slumped? Shoulders down. It's more
Mhm.
like this, right?
Mhm.
So we know this. So how do we know? How are we able to know how are we able to describe a person who is depressed?
Right. Right. It's
Because
you.
it's the way I'm sorry, so I
No,
just I
go
say
ahead.
this. It's the way we position our body. The
Mm.
way our physiology is the way we use our body.
Yeah.
So if a person is depressed, of course their head is going to be down.
Mhm.
But if it's up, it's not. And if we shoulders will be back, their breathing would not be shallow, it will be be full if you're sitting up.
Yeah.
So these are some of the ways. This is part of being mindful. Being part of mindful of our body and how we are using our physiology as well, because sometimes we're not mindful of ourselves,
Mm.
how we're utilizing our body, because there's so much going on around our world. We live in such a fast-paced world. We're not scrolling our phones or something.
Mhm.
So if we could really pay attention to how we are using our body,
Mhm.
then that's also help us to change our state as well. So
Right.
it's not just mentally shifting, but even like journaling, we're doing something, right? So we need to do something with our body physically,
Mhm.
whether it's just doing a weird move or just creating some kind of gesture will create also a shift in our mindset as well.
Right.
So
Thank
I
you
just
for.
want to put that out there.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for mentioning that. Um, Definitely makes a difference. So not just only the mind, but our physical. It's connected. It's not separate. So that definitely makes sense. Thank you. Go to the comments. I totally agree with all of those. We are always trying to get one or all of them. You're talking about our six needs, I believe so, Sean. Yes. Next comment. You are both right. I do become mindful and stand in the moment, dealing with what is actually happening right now, calming the chatter
Yes.
and making a rational decision. Oh my goodness, the chatter. And that's where I'm talking about the movie script that we come into, right? The movie we done start to finish, and then we look up and you're like, where did I get that from? You know, absolutely. Thank you for that comment. Did you want to speak more to that?
Yeah, I mean, is it me, Sean? Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. It's just it's the chatter, right? It's the chatter that gets us going. It's a nonstop. So what if once we can calm that chatter down, we're able to center ourselves, um, and make a rational decision, because the decision we make when we're angry versus when we're not are obviously completely two different outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for
Being in
sharing.
the moment. Yeah.
So, having said that, what habits or routines do we um, can we use or to maintain a positive mindset, especially during stressful situations? We mentioned about being in the present moment,
Mhm.
um, but then there are certain particular habits that can further produce more stress as opposed to lessen the stress. Can you speak to that for a little?
Sure. I mean, so habits. So what are habits? Let's look at that first, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are habits? So this is not, we have become something that we're not, essentially. If we're not happy, or that aspect of ourselves that we're not really satisfied with or pleased with, I'll say, um, that we're looking to change, that's something we're not satisfied with. So habit is created step by step. For instance, um, so for let me okay, when we first learned to walk, yes, it was a process. We didn't learn to walk, immediately.
Sure.
It was, we had to crawl, we have to do all these things. Same thing with writing our names, for example. We had to learn the alphabets, we had, go through the process, stay in line, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these is just a process. And oftentimes I think what I get from our clients, and even my clients, sometimes it's like, I need to change this about me, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say a particular thing, and they look at everything that they have to change, and they try to tackle it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that. It's not like that. So in order to create a habit, is first is decide. First we have to
Yes.
decide. That is the number one thing. Is no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
this is this is what I am going to do. Until we get to that point, nothing really changes. Absolutely nothing changes. But
Making
we
that
first have
decision.
to decide. Absolutely, making a decision. So once we make that decision, now we are committed, and we have a reason why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that why is what will fuel us, whether we move forward or not, as well, right? Because that why, it will drive us um to become more. So I have a reason to do what I do. So for example, like, someone who struggle with smoking, or want to lose weight, etc. So there's few things happening. There's a certain pattern that's
Mm.
happening. And that pattern is, it looks like this. When I get stressed, I reach for food, or I reach for drink, or I reach for shopping, or I reach for this. So essentially what we're trying to do is trying to feel good.
Mm.
That's all it's really, what is that about? But even though in that process it may feel good, it's only for that moment. As
Mm-hmm.
Mishran said, everything is like in the moment. So in that very moment, that's what we're looking to satisfy, whether it's good for us or not, because of that stressful situation has created for us. So therefore, we want to feel good. So we reach to other things. So in order to have a habit, we first have to be aware the impact that our current um, that our current behavior has the impact that our current behavior has on our lives. So we have to decide. That's it.
Right.
Once we decide why we want it, and so then the rest, it becomes easy, because now you know why you're doing it. You're not
Right.
just reacting. It's not just due to stress. Oh, I feel stressed. I'm stressed out. I don't know what to do. Okay, let me reach for this. So we're not just not reaching. So, but once we become aware of that and we decide what we want, then we begin
Mm.
to just do the next logical thing, next logical thing, the next logical thing.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense? So
It.
it's not really complicated, because we know why we're doing it. You know what I mean? Let me give you an example, perhaps,
Mm.
like what, for example, if I decide I want to go to Hawaii, I know exactly what I need to go to Hawaii, right? I need to go online, book my travel and my lodges, etc., where I'm going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But first, what I have to decide, I have to know what I want, where I'm going, and then the rest just becomes easy.
Right.
So,
Right.
and life is kind of like that, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I, I'm so glad that you said that. And I think Black women hit the nail on the head. The decide part can be difficult. And that being said, I understand. It can be difficult for some people. And,
Mhm.
you know, nobody, I'm just saying, for example, in my experience, no one the people or the families, individuals that I serve, sometimes nobody has ever asked them, well, what do you want? Right. And then help them get to the process of deciding what they want, not what we want, I want, or you as a coach, what you want for them, but what do they want from themselves, making that decision, and then helping them to navigate and implement that decision. You know, sometimes, I mean, even took for me, it's like, okay, deciding what I want, what do I want, and going after that. But that was a process, right? We don't, unless you learned it very young, and I did not. I
Yeah,
don't know if
none of us did. I don't think.
that, but once I got to the epiphany, oh, I can decide what I want, make the steps to make it happen, and go from there. I can do that. Or, you know, it's sort of like, I don't know if I got permission to do that or realize it's up to me, you know, at that point. So, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I've had people I'm like, well, decide what you want. And it's like, well, I don't know. And then I said, well, then think about it. It's like we really have to think about it. If we don't know, I feel like we also have the ability to think, okay, what is it that I really want? Because I also feel that we can get answers from ourselves, but we just have to ask ourselves the right questions. What is it
Mm,
that I really want? What is it? So if we keep that question in forefront of our mind, just constantly asking, what do I want? What matters to me?
right.
What would make me happy? So it's so we have to navigate through that and just ask ourselves that, and I believe we will get that answer. I really do. As they say, ask and you shall what? You shall receive.
That
So,
was it. Mm-hmm.
I really believe that. But we just have to ask ourselves quality question, but since to just be really sincere. And you may not get that answer right away. It could
Right.
be while you're driving, or you could be in the shower, like, which oftentimes for me is when I'm in the shower doing something, washing dishes or something of that sort. The idea will just come to me. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what is so I do believe in just asking ourselves, and and then once we get that, then we just we have to decide.
Yeah.
But I understand it can be challenging, but we can also ask ourselves, and ourselves we can get that from within ourselves as well,
Yeah.
because all is within. I believe that. So
Black women build wealth. I mean, sticking with it. So even when you do decide, sticking with the plan that you laid out for yourself as well. So that's another thing to keep that momentum and keep going until you've reached that goal, right? Whatever that goal is. She also adds, most of the time people don't really know what they want, like you mentioned, Elsa, and said take time to think about it, right? Just, you don't have to decide right now, but just, you know, just even the thought of thinking about what you want.
yeah, just put to ponder on it. It's, I guess, more. I guess I could say it's just to ponder on that thought. What do I want? What do I really want?
Yes,
What would feel good to me
exactly.
right now?
Ex-
How do I feel about that? How does that make me feel? So everything's within us. There's everything out here. Let me just say this. Everything that's out here is just that.
mm,
Everything. I mean, we can all look around right now. I can look here in my office, and everything that I see here was once a thought.
mm-hmm,
Literally, it's
mm-hmm,
nothing. By the time it comes out here, it's already manifested. Whether it's a screen, this microphone, everything. It's just everything is out, but everything's within us.
mm-hmm.
So if we can just go within ourselves, then we won't go without.
Mm,
Oftentimes, because we don't go within, then we
mm-hmm,
go without, then we have all these problems. Like we feel like we don't know what to do. We feel like powerless. And I know there's a lot of dynamics that place with that, right?
right.
But it's about being aware, right? Having new information and just kind of looking at that. What does that mean? Wow, just to kind of ponder on things. But everything we need is within us. I mean, I've read many books, and they all say the same thing, whether it's Christ, Buddha, it doesn't matter. All things are within us, literally. And we're more powerful than we could even ever imagine.
Yeah.
But we just gotta find that. And it's just like Sean said. Sean said it's within. We must keep that chatter if we can. At least
Mm-hmm.
practice it on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the chatter low and just
Mm-hmm.
go within, and you will find everything there. I promise you, everything is there. What you want,
Absolutely.
what you desire, what's in your heart, everything,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
so I just
people,
want to say that.
yeah, some people just need that permission to say it's okay
Yeah.
to go within or to look within. In other words, you don't have to look without for the answers for things. And a lot of times, I don't know if you experience that. I come across individuals, they're looking for someone else or outside of them to be the source of whatever it is that's going on in their lives,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. So whatever it is, to solve the problem, to handle the situation, to, in other words, not take stock of what may have contributed or what they can contribute to solving whatever it is or moving through whatever challenge they're going through or trying a goal that they're trying to meet, but they're
Mhm.
looking for someone else to do, right? Or to I don't know, right word I want to pick here. I want to say, I don't know. You know what
I,
I'm trying to say, Elsa?
I think it's like looking for that permission that it's okay.
Okay.
It's not we. I get that a lot too from my clients, where it's like sometimes they never even thought of that it's okay for me to do that. Like I don't have that right.
Mm-hmm.
Like who am I to want this? Because see, we also have these programs till growing up. Like who do you think you are to
Right.
want that?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so comments like that can also, be hindrance sometimes. And yeah, so yes, some people seek permission, but it's okay. It really
Ab-
is.
absolutely. Shamik Sean says to remain mindful is a process that takes practice. In my journaling, I track negative and positive thoughts throughout my day. Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And Black Women Build Wealth adds journaling is a great tool indeed. And do you do it? Oh, she was talking about every day. Okay, they're doing chat thing. Awesome. Yes, my journals go back
Wow.
1995. Whoa. And I do revisit them. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm glad she mentioned that. I do that as well to see what was going on in my life then and to look at back how far I've come.
Exactly. Yeah. How
Because
much?
my journaling back then is not the same. Your journaling back then today is surely is not what it used to be. So I can imagine.
Yes.
You're gonna say, Elsa?
Yeah, definitely. I do the same thing, and it just shows me how much I've grown. Because oftentimes it's really hard to see how much we've grown. But for me, by revisiting my journals and just going over, it's like, wow, I
Uh-huh.
can't believe I used to think like that.
Right,
I
right.
can see that. Wow, I've come a long way. So it's a way to also validate self as well, just in terms
Yeah,
of growth is concerned. Yeah.
yes. And I don't know about you, but I also use my journals as a way. I figure one day I could pray whoever would want them, if they want them, is to pass them on to somebody else. You know, sort of like I would say a life footprint or a life blueprint. Not a complete, but maybe learn from what I learned from and perhaps expand on that or jump springboard from
Mhm.
what I did, right? My experience. What did I come across that I felt like was great? Or what did I learn that you might not want to repeat or whatever the case might be? And I know this world is changing and dynamics may be different, but I think in essence, human nature is fundamental,
Yep.
and so you can always learn from somebody, something that can be helpful for you in the future. So I look to my journals to be able to be a source for somebody else as well, however or wherever they end up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Uh, wow, that dedication. She's probably talking about that journaling since
Yeah.
1995. Wow. If you still
Yeah.
have all those journals, that's a library by itself, I imagine.
Book there. Yeah.
That is it. Did you say a book?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a book of life stories right there, right?
Yeah.
Mishan says we tend to expect others to fulfill needs that are ours to own. Ooh.
Mhm.
Our happiness, regulating our emotions, etc.
Yes.
You spoke to that, Elsa. People needing permission or saying that it's okay to do the thing or want to do the thing, whatever it is that you want to do, and you don't need permission. If you, I'm being facetious here, but I knight you. You have permission. It's okay to do the thing. You know, whatever it is, that thing it is that you
Absolutely.
that you want to do. And this is one of the things I did. Well, I do for my family. I started at the beginning of the year, getting together with my family. I put out a Facebook post, and it's like, well, what are we projecting for the year? Okay, what are we? Um, what are you believing for yourself for the year? Either for yourself and or for the family. And so I challenge the family to put out there what they're projecting for themselves and or projecting for the families. Why do I do that? To give voice, to give yourself just what we're talking about, permission
Mhm.
to say, I want this. And it's okay to speak it in a safe space of family, although, you know, some families can be, I understand. Some family dynamics might be like, I ain't doing that. But, but, you know, if you feel safe in a space, just to put it out there for them to say, it's okay. Talk about this thing. And here I am putting myself out on Front Street, okay, saying that this is what I want to do and this is what I project positively for the family. So I'm giving myself permission. I'm giving you permission. If you didn't even think that you could have permission to want and do, to dream, to be, and to have all the things that you want to do in your life, right? And not needing someone else um, to say it's okay to do that or pat you on the back, or of course, whatever the thing is, you may have to do it alone.
So,
I, you know, nobody might take you by the hand and do it for you, but at least you have the seed or the foundation here in this safe space to start and we're all cheering you on, you know. And that's what you coaches, right? We cheer people on. Social workers, we do the things to help them to feel motivated and look at themselves. Could you speak to that, about that, when you're coaching?
yes, definitely. I mean, it's we are. I was trying to find the easiest way to say this, but so we are responsible for ourselves,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
So for our life, for everything, da, 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 and we've heard that a lot of times. And I know the word responsibility sometimes can be like make you cringe because it has a high level of responsibility that comes with it.
mm-hmm,
But it's and once it's a beautiful thing to be responsible for self. Isn't that? I mean, why do we go to work? Why do we do the things we do?
mm-hmm,
You know, it's because it's for self love. And when we begin to be responsible for self, we're just saying, you know what, I'm willing to love myself no matter what.
mm-hmm,
I am worthy. Because the truth of the matter is this: there's only one you, one of you. There's only one of me, one of you, and one of all of you. And you are very unique and rare. What does that mean? That means everything you've seen, every license plate, every menu, every music you've listened to, every show you've watched, everything you've watched, everything you've experienced, your experience and perspective can never, ever, I mean, ever be duplicated, even with all this technology we have.
mm-hmm.
And that's how special and unique and rare you are, each of you. And so it's just coming to that, realizing that
Mm-hmm.
it's just that I matter. My life matters. I matter. You
Yeah.
matter. It's coming to that understanding and coming and even and I know sometimes it's hard. Believe
Mm-hmm.
me, it can be a challenge. I don't want to say it's hard because everything's a challenge in life. It has to be. Okay. And it's not going to be easy. Or it wouldn't be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is the first step. It's just like you matter. You got to take time out for yourself. You got to carve out that 15 minutes, even if it's 15 minutes a day, just for you.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time with you. Isn't that what relationship is about? If we love someone, whether we're in a relationship or what have you, what is the one thing we do? Spend time with them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we have to have that moment to spend time with ourselves and get to know us. If we haven't done it before, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the end of the world, but
Mm-hmm.
we can begin now because
Ah,
everything is in the now.
yeah.
From this moment, what am I willing to do?
Right. Absolutely.
Spend that time with self because you are the most important thing. There's not one another one like you. And there will never ever be one. You are the one and only.
Yes. I
So
love that. Mm-hmm.
so let's just spend time with self, whether it's journaling, just kind of 15 minutes a day, really.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
Absolutely. I'm
Um,
so glad you said that. Bring that up, which leads me into when you're talking about that 15 minutes a day. And that's what I talk about, the use of essential oils. So most of my instruction is about taking essential oils in a diffuser, for example, if you have one, and you turning it on for 15 minutes. So that 15 minutes while you're just taking your time for yourself, you can just be relaxed and inhaling the aroma that uplifts your mood, gives you that sense of calming, that relaxation. That's something you can do for yourself. You can do while you're journaling and in that quiet space, right? You
mhm.
can have that aromatherapy going on. It just adds to it, right? It's like your own personal spa.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mental or emotional spa. So we've given some practices today about what we can do in situations with having our mindset right in stressful situations. We talked about sitting with ourselves. We talked about journaling. We talked about making that shift to from negative to the positive and thinking about. So this works for individuals, and we're proposing individuals and professionals, right? And when you're working with clients and things of that nature. So if you're a person or a client who is in a, say, high pressure or high stress
Right.
job, then these are some techniques that you can utilize. I know you might not be able to stop every time, depending on what that job is or what that position that you have. And one of my tricks is for aromatherapy, um, is to put a couple of drops on a cotton ball and put it in your brassiere and carry it with you. So when that stressful situation
Yeah.
starts, yeah, you have it with you and just taking those woosah
Yeah.
moments, right? And
Mm.
saying, okay, let me regroup here. And you have your aromatherapy on you, be it a cotton ball or a sniff stick or something of that nature. So I'm looking in the chat to see if we have questions. All
Okay.
right, Elsa, are there any challenges or behaviors you see that are most prominent in Black community? Thank you for that question. All right.
Yeah. For me, it's the lack of deservability. I
Mm,
I see that huge across everything, but predominantly in our community. I see a lot of that. It's lack of deserving, like I'm not good enough.
mm.
And and nothing is like further from the truth is that we are good enough.
Say
you
that
know,
again.
we
Yes.
are good enough. we
Mm-hmm.
are we are more than good enough. And it's that mindset, that doubt is what creates the doubt. And once we have that little doubt, and that doubt gets to be like a chatter and a place on our emotions or in our yeah, I guess you could say, and then we just kind of feed that. But we
Mm-hmm.
are enough.
Yeah. So that being said, what in the Black community, or if you could speak to what has been more prevalent, so to speak, as far as the challenges of behaviors, if you can speak
When
specific. So she's asking about more prominent in the Black community. I don't know if your community of those that you coach or those that you have
Yeah.
more experience with, but specifically, do you see differences?
No, it's no, not really. It's like that's what I was saying. Deservability. A lot of everyone suffers from that lack of
Mm,
deserving, or I'm not good enough. Every human being, it doesn't matter whether in our community, whether it's in foreigners, whether it's in Caucasians, it's all the same thing. It's in this group called humanity. Everyone.
mm,
It's almost. I almost want to say it's part of the human condition.
mm.
It's like
Okay.
everyone has that, but it's just at different levels.
Okay.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. So not so it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's across the board.
Absolutely. It's if you're human, yes, more likely you're suffering from not good enough, self-pity, anger, shame, all these we all have it. Some more than others, but yeah, but it's there.
Right. Thank you. Hopefully that answers your question. Black women build wealth.
We'll try to
Yeah.
clarify that.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. We'll say hi to thank you for being here from lack to legacy. Um, she said, "I'm glad I could get alive." I'm so glad that you did too. Thank you, Sandra. Oh, she added to the conversation. She says, "I've definitely felt that way." What you were speaking about, and that's something. I'm glad that. Thank you for sharing that from lack to legacy, because it can be kind of hard to admit that you feel that way, or difficult to even shine the light to say, yeah, I don't even feel like I'm deserving of nothing. Um, from lack to legacy, you're talking about doing the thing that having that mindset to say it's okay to do, going towards prosperity, or investing, or what have you, or like Black Women Build Wealth on her channel, incorporating Black women to idea that it's okay to say that you want to build wealth. So the mindset that um, perhaps our community or anyone else has, that particularly for us Black women, because that's all I can speak to, y'all, right? That we are deserving of doing the things that we set out to do. So I thank you for pointing that out. Um, but sometimes we just don't feel like we're good enough, and going back to that permission thing, right, Elsa?
Absolutely. It's giving ourselves that permission. So, and it's the thing is, you're not alone. That's the thing. And um, no one, we're all in this together. It's really that. And the only thing that separates it is just those that are, who are slowly coming out of it, and there are those, it's a journey, let's just put it that way. Number one is acknowledging it, and by acknowledging it, you've made a huge stride. You just like, it's like turning on the light, when we turn on the light, it lights up the whole entire room. It doesn't just a little bit. So by just admitting that, or knowing that about yourself, you're
Mm-hmm.
already, you're on the right path.
Right,
Sincerely.
right,
Yeah,
right.
because once we know something, now we are aware of it, and we can move in the direction, and and uncovering it more, and just learning more about it, and
Mm-hmm.
understand, why am I not deserving? So then other questions begin to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we begin to ask the different questions. Oh yeah, maybe that. So, and everything comes together, I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you are aware of it, big up. That's
I
amazing.
know.
Sincerely, I mean that.
Yeah,
See it.
absolutely. And to be able to speak it, or say it, and
Yeah,
share it with someone, share it with us, because sometimes you never know what you're feeling can help somebody else when they're like, oh, yeah, like you said, you're not alone, Yana. And somebody else feel like, well, I felt that way, but I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you did. And now I can, agree with you that, yeah, I felt that way too. It doesn't feel good to be
we
alone.
all have. So you're not alone. And even, yeah, like you said, there, some people feel, we all feel it, whether we admit it or not, because we're afraid of being judged.
Mm,
That stigma, and so, and there's layers. We're very complex. Well, not complex, intricate. Let's just say that as human beings, we're very, very intricate.
Mm-hmm.
There's layers and layers and layers like onions. So we're constantly just peeling away things, but just we're beautiful. You're beautiful. You really are. We all
Oh,
are.
oh,
So
thank you. Bless your heart. Bless yourself. Hey, thank you. Well, say some more hi to our audience. Hey, let's talk about it with Mara. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. And just going back a little bit, I just want to touch on something. Black women build wealth, challenge behavior seen prominent in Black community. I'm just going to touch on this a little bit from a social work perspective. Um, that of course, there are social and economic situations that contribute to perhaps some of us being in a status of where we are. That don't mean that you have to stay where you are. That is your complete destiny, right? But we understand that sometimes that can play a role as to where the person is and the mindset that they have for where they are today and what they think is possible, right? So I just wanted to touch on that. Just depending on, there are many factors, and just like in coaching, such as Elsa does, and me in social work, that there are other factors that come along with individuals when they come to you, be it their background, their history, upbringing, right?
mhm.
So I just wanted to touch on that just a little
Absolutely.
bit.
I mean, and it's humanity. Like, there's not one person on this planet that's exempt from trauma. We all
Mm,
have trauma. Everyone is, and having that trauma sometimes can cloud the way we perceive things.
yeah.
I recently was sharing with a client who was just being very stubborn about something. And so the metaphor I used was just like, standing on a pile of manure, you know? So she's standing on a pile of manure, like to her, okay, that's pretty normal, And, but to someone who's not accustomed to smell manure, it's going to say, you smell like manure. But she will not be able to notice the difference because she's in it.
Mm,
So, and oftentimes and for all of us, it's really difficult for us to see ourselves.
mm,
It really is. It's like trying to read uh, a box, a
mm-hmm.
label a label while you're inside the box. It's impossible. It just it does it's really tough. So how do we do that? It's by, like, by journaling and
Mm-hmm.
just seeing, uncovering aspects of ourselves.
Yeah.
We are, what we liked last week, what was I like last month, last week before that, because every day we're growing, every day we are changing, but we don't see that either because we see ourselves every day.
Right. Right.
So by journaling, we can see how much we've grown, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think someone mentioned about Meet Sean's journaling. She has about 3 books of journaling. So you can see how far you've grown over 3 books. So that's absolutely wonderful. And
Yeah.
I love this. I love the way we support one another. I do too. It's as far as people, a community, and being able to collaborate. That's how I met Elsa. I'm so grateful to have met her in this space, collaboration space, and us supporting one another. Just the same with Black Women Build Wealth and From Lack to Legacy. It's beautiful when we can extend ourselves, right? And to be able to be a support to others and have a common goal of wanting to support our community, whomever you serve, wherever you serve, right? So I'm grateful for that camaraderie that
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
that we have. So thank you, and thank you for answering the call from Elsa, because I'll be reaching out to folks, y'all. I'll be like, okay, you want to do something? You want to collaborate? See how we can,
yeah.
uplift, what we do and how we do it, and share it with others.
Yeah, and that's what a community is about, right? It's when we can all come together with different ideas that would help us inspire, or just even a thought, something we can take, even if it's just one thing. That's growth. That's to be able to contemplate on that, or to just hear something different that we've never heard. That's something. That's so. for me, at least from my perspective, that's how I view my life. If I can just learn even one thing, and I've been to so many seminars like in the past, and I used to always say, if I can just find that one thing, and some of them might have been boring, except but I've always walked away with something. If it's just one thing, and I just know, and I tell myself, okay, I learned something. This is something I learned today that I didn't know, an hour ago or yesterday or last week. Or
Right.
even if I heard something that I already know, it's just, this just confirms something that I already know. So I'm on the
Right.
right path. So
Right.
these are some of the self-talk that I've done in the past. And sometimes I recommend to my clients, it's sometimes we have to self-talk ourselves instead
Mm-hmm.
of just go with the chatter. It's like, hey, I'm doing the best I can. And you are. We all are.
Right.
From where we are, from
Right.
where we stand with the knowledge we have in this moment, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
And we
Yep.
have to give ourselves credit for that.
Amen. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. We'll bring up this next comment question. I'm new to journaling. Do you have any suggestion for someone new to journaling? So, what would you say? We talked a little bit about that. What
Sure.
would you say, a person new to journaling? I have my spin on it, but go ahead. What would you
Yeah.
say?
I would like to, like, I don't, I just journal, just start, I don't have anything. I don't have any special way or of anything. I just pick up, just keep it consistent, just keep writing. Keep writing. And
Okay.
for me, it's like the more we write and just get on that flow, it just doesn't matter what it is, just and it will just take you. And
Mm-hmm.
then the thing starts to come up. At least
Okay.
that's been my experience. So just keep journaling. Don't stop.
Don't
Don't
stop.
stop. Keep journaling.
Oh, I will say I've done and do excuse me, two types of journaling. One type of journaling, which is my grateful journal, where I'm writing out what I'm grateful for, the things, no matter how big or how small. That's one of the things I do. What I'm grateful for, right? Because there can always be problems in the day, but I'm gonna find that one something that I am grateful for that day. And then that week or how often I journal, right? And then there is the what I've learned, the brain dumping sort of journaling, the things that is on your mind that you just need to get out, right? The stuff that might be on your heart, your mind, your frustrations, the um whatever it is that you just need to just get it out in no form or fashion, no right or wrong, so to speak. Nothing judgmental, not feeling like you got to say it right or spell it right or nothing like that, but just to get it out.
Yeah.
That's a release,
Yes.
right?
Definitely. Yes.
So that's the of types of journaling I do. Of course, there are many other types of journaling. People, journal different types of things. It's up to you, but that's just some of the things that helps me. Being having a grateful journal, and then a journal where I'm just dumping things out just to get it off my chest. And going from there, and I'm a little partial. I do like to journal in my own journals that I created. So, you know, just to it makes me feel good, right? It makes me feel good that okay, I created this. I'm talking about this journal behind me. That's just one example, but I created this and I'm getting it out there and I feel good about it. But that's just me. So hopefully that helps you from lack to legacy. Um,
But I also wanted to add something too. I know Danny, you and I were talking about this. Like, there's one journal that I also do in the morning.
uh-huh.
It's called My Positive Aspect.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes. Thank
so
you.
that's another journaling. So my positive aspect for me is basically I look after I work out, do whatever I do. I sit outside or my chair, whatever. I begin to write all the positive things in my life.
There you
And I
go.
call that my positive aspect. And that puts me in a state of ecstasy, if you will. And I don't know, I love that. So that's something I personally do. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, so.
Awesome. And she also, you also have a positive aspect journal too.
Yes, I
So
do.
we both are journal content creators. We love the journaling and we love creating the journal. So I'll
Yeah.
put, if you're interested, we'll put links to the journals in the description. So that means we have a couple of more questions. Let's see. Black Woman Build Wealth says, is there a better time of day to journal? It is only about how we feel, per also about how we want to feel and things we want to see happening. It's a better time of day to journal. Is it only about how we feel, or also about how we want to feel and things we want to see happening? What is your spin on that?
So, is there a better time to journal? For me, I find it in the morning because for me, that sets my tone for the day. Like my positive aspect, I like starting my morning on a high note. So, I started with positive aspect. Which is listing all the positive things, like, I'll say like my eyes, for example, that allows me to see the beauty of nature, like nature, or the smiles and things of that sort, right? Or my heart that beats without me having to tell it, my ear that allows me to listen to music, laughter, all these wonderful things. So those are just the basic. Or my home that keeps me warm, that gives me privacy, or the food, if because I'm a juicer too. So the juice that I'm juicing, I think about how that the juice came to be, like to my hand, literally on my glass, the process that it grew. I give thanks for that. I give thanks for the soil. And I just kind of go on that journey and just imagining from being planted, from being a seed to fully grown, to being harvested, to go to the grocery store, somebody delivering it, and then me picking it up, to juicing it. So yes, this is a lot, but I journal all these things and I give thanks for all those things.
Absolutely.
That,
Absolutely.
so
Uh,
in the morning, that helps me set my day. Is it only about how we feel? Um, so you can also do that. Like, how do you feel? Yes, that's very important, because if you're feeling something, if you're journaling it, at least from my perspective, it will give you. It's like you're getting it out.
yes.
It's about getting it out. It's whatever's inside of you. It's just taking it out instead of pushing it, pressing it, compressing it, depressing it, or pressing it a number of ways. It's not doesn't help, because it
Mm,
causes more problem, more doubt, more um dis-ease, a dis-ease within ourselves. But
yes.
the idea is just to reach in and just get it out there, out of you, so
Yes.
you're not just holding it in. So yeah, it's whenever yeah, it's whatever feels right to you.
Yeah.
You have your feeling. Your feeling is your guiding system. I
Yeah.
believe that's our guiding system. Our our feeling let us know whether it's leading us up or down. And by that,
Mm,
I mean if whether we're feeling good or not good. If we're not feeling good, we should journal it.
mm-hmm.
Try to move, like just journal it, and why, and try to understand what's causing that. But
Yeah.
our feeling is our guide. I really believe that. The gut never lies. So as
Yeah.
they say. Um, yeah, and we want to,
Feel things or want to see happening.
yeah,
You mentioned about journaling in the morning, so I'll do mine more in it later in the day. My mornings are usually starting off with my meditation, and I do my connection with my higher power in the morning. That's the first thing I do because I need that to start my day and my job. If I don't have that, I can't turn on that computer. I need I need that connection first so that my mind and heart are in alignment
yeah,
first and then start my day. So I'll do my journaling at night. So I think what we're saying to what is works best for you as far as a better time of day. Elsa, it works best for you during the morning. For me, it works better. I've gone through my day. Um, so it's whatever works for you. And she mentioned about things we want to see happening. It could be an intention journal, whatever you make it to be, right? Whatever you make it to be.
because you are the creator of you
Yes.
are the creator, the architect, and the designer of your life. It's whatever
Mhm.
you want it to be. There's no right or wrong, really.
Absolutely. So I thank you for
But
that
thank you.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, from lack to legacy. So I like the thought of keeping those things separate. Okay, we need to link to your journal. Sure, dear. We'll have links to the journals at the end of this in the description. So we talked about some things today.
Oh my God.
Thank you for asking. We talked about some things today about mindset and dealing with stress and what we do, you do as a coach, and I as a social worker, and bringing those things together to not only help ourselves but to help those we serve. So we want to continue the conversation. We actually want to make this fun because sometimes the idea of talking about stress or the idea of talking about mindset is like, oh, something else I got to do to try to navigate this world, and it can be challenging. But we would love to do this on a one-on-one. Or if we see that, we need to expand it to something else, we, we'll work on it, y'all. But we want to we want to continue this conversation, and we want to do it if you're interested in a one-on-one. So we're going to actually have a little bit of fun where we're um, offering something to our audience. You want to talk about it, Elsa? You want me to talk about it? Or
I'll let you take the lead.
so we're gonna. this is it's like, well, what can we do to extend this conversation, not just have it be, a one-off, so to speak, and we just talk about it. And of course, we can always come back. I love your presence here, and oh my goodness, just talking to Elsa. If you've experienced just by talking to her in an hour, imagine what I've done in the last week. She's such a beautiful soul. So to get that in a more intimate setting. So what we're planning to do is have um, a a combined mindset and aromatherapy virtual experience. Right? An amazing virtual experience in covering mindset and the use of aromatherapy. Right? So what we're planning to do is um, we're going to have the how to participate in the description, but just to give you an idea, we're going to have the instructions on how to participate and what the prize is, how we'll choose the winner. And so just to give you an idea, so how you can participate, right? So we'll have a set of questions in the description for you to answer, right? You can either respond in the comments, and or we'll have um, an email address for you to email us the answers to, and I'll just put that at the bottom of the screen that's scrolling right now, for you to answer those questions. It's fun. There's no right or wrong answers. We're looking for creativities. We're looking for fun. We're looking to expand on what we're talking about today. And to help. We are helping professionals is such that what we do and how we show up is to help others. You don't get into coaching and you don't get into social work to be self-serving, right? By no means. Your heart is there and you want to give, you want to share the tools that you have in order to help somebody else. So that being said, again, we'll have questions in the description. And I'll put all this in the description to recap. So don't have to worry about remembering it. But but just to say it now so you can say, I heard about it. Let me go back and read it, right? So we'll have the questions in the description. We're going to ask you to either respond to us in the comments or send it to us via email. We're going to pick a winner, right? Um, and we discussed having one winner. I know I'm putting you on the spot, Elsa, but we might even have more than one. So who
That's what
sees?
I'm thinking. Let's do 3.
Three. I mean, you never know, right? Because we can, since it's a virtual experience, we're not limited, right? We're not
Right.
limited to having somebody come one off and and do it. We can invite more people. We're
Yeah.
about the group, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. I mean, the idea is that we're really like I feel like I've been like we've both been blessed, and we just want to share. We also just want to see everyone else to get a piece of that. What is that like? And it's like to give back, really. And it's about giving, right? Isn't that what life is really about? At the end of the day, if we can give somebody something that inspire them, to help them, to grow, to make a difference,
absolutely.
to elevate them, to just I mean, I don't know. That's my perspective. And
Oh,
so
most definitely. Uh-huh.
yeah, so that's why we're doing this. It's just we want to give because it'll be a joy. It's not out of pity, it's not of anything, but we just want to give. So if you allow us to, it would be
Yeah.
awesome if you guys can participate in this.
Yes, and I thank you for that love from Lack to Legacy and Mink Sean. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, so getting back to, we're planning to have a virtual experience again through mindset and aromatherapy. We'll have the questions in the description. We're looking for creative questions, answers to the questions. You can do it in the comments or the email. And so the prize will be that we're going to have a guided mindset and aromatherapy workshop. Okay.
For
We-
free.
For free. For free. And if anybody knows anything about coaching or working with a person individually, such as myself, an aromatherapist, you don't necessarily get that one-on-one attention for free. If you in a coaching environment, I know you might have seen some coaches or what have you. They're well worth their salt. They've been in the game. That the fact that we can offer this for free, and Elsa's graciously offering this as a service, because Sister Girl has been at her coaching longer than I've been in my social work. She's been 30 years. I've only been 20, I'm 20, going on 25, 27 rather. But she's been in it 30, over 30 years. So, you coming with a lot of rich experience here, right? And with that, we'll pick a winner or pick winners. That's what we just mentioned, right? Okay. And we're planning to announce it. We're thinking 1 week, Elsa. Is that what your thought is, to by next week? Because
Yeah,
next time huh?
I think so. What do
Think
you
so?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Sounds
want to
like
come back. We want to give the announcement. We want we want a live to do the announcement. We'll make that determination of whether or not we're going to put it out there just in the community tab, who will be the winner, and how, for us to reach out to you or reach back out to us to collect your prize,
yes.
right? Would you want anything to add to that?
Yes, absolutely. So what does the price include? Like from my perspective, you'll get a 3 session. It's all about three for me.
Right.
You'll get three session with me, and we can work on anything that you like. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So anything that you like, anything that something that's challenging you, or just whatever you want, basically. It's
Oh, okay.
it's up to you.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Elsa is offering, just to put it in perspective, you're offering 3 free sessions. Could you break that down for us, with like your program would look like, for example? Like,
So
go ahead.
so again, would start out basically where you are and where you want to go, basically, and closing that gap and
Hmm.
what's stopping you.
Hmm. Absolutely. But so for to offer this free session, um, normally, just to put it out there, we don't play ourselves cheap as a Lack the
Yeah.
Legacy. We pay for what we want and what we do, right? And we pay on our sisters too. But normally,
Yes.
if somebody wanted to coach with Elsa,
It's
uh,
usually like $4,800.
for what? For what
Um,
level?
that's just for level one, and that's for 6 months. And for 12 months, it's 9,600.
All right.
And for a year and a half, 18 months, it's usually about $15,000, almost $16,000. So yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just to put it in perspective, I'm just saying.
Yes. And it does come with money back guarantee. So
You can't beat that.
yeah,
And you
it
get
does.
the
But yeah, but we're just doing this as a service. Like I said,
abs-
I just want to help, just someone help me,
absolutely.
someone was there for me. So it's just about paying it forward and just, want to offer this to you guys. So
Absolutely. I'm
yeah.
gonna come in there, offer my aromatherapy services to you as well. Because let me say this. I talk about aromatherapy on my channel, and people ask questions and things like that. But the use of aromatherapy really is, it can be personalized. And I say that because yes, you can get a bottle and do it because you heard that it is helpful for this, but you really need to know what essential oils would be best for you, because everybody is different. We know that they have therapeutic properties, right? But everybody's different, and some people might be having a challenge or a health challenge for which they may be taking the medications that would be contra indications for. So, that being said, you really want a personalized session to say, okay, this is me. Or if we're doing it in a group session, you feel comfortable. What could I look to in order to um, use it safely and effectively? Because with me, safety is always key. You'll hear me say that many times.
Mhm.
So, yes. So, we're combining the two,
Mhm.
right? The, with our mindset coaching and the aromatherapy um, session. And I do offer individualized coaching one-on-one for an hour, but we're individually, but we're combining the two. We're combining the two and offering it for free, right? So, and that's 3 sessions, and it might be individual or I say up to 3, and really do the thing and work with and see what we can help with. I said, me too.
Just to get that experience, and
Yeah,
to test it out, see, where you are, where you want to be, and how you can create just a better version, because we all always becoming more of who we really are
absolutely,
every day.
absolutely.
So if you're interested in becoming more, finding out, closing that gap, or learning more about how to take care of yourself, how to just do the little things for yourself, the steps you can take
Yes.
to aromatherapy, creating your space, creating that
Mm,
time for you and your environment, just for you, no one else. So aromatherapy can offer that, and coaching with me, it definitely, it's just closing that gap where you are, where you want to be. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? Because 5 years from now, we'll be here whether we like it or not.
hmm.
So the question is, where would you like to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for all the comments. Meet Sean said that is wonderful because they say that services, it can you invest in what it means to you, and I could just to say the same. Absolutely, and the intention, when you invest in something, you most definitely take heed to it, right? You're like, I've invested in this. I better do something.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
most definitely. I'm looking for any more questions in the chat. If there's no more
Like,
questions in the chat, we're going to
you're
round
welcome.
this. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. You're more than welcome. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing your gifts with us. Absolutely. And again, all about sharing. I say social work is sharing wisdom.
Yes.
That's what it stands for. And how wonderful what Elsa is doing. And we look forward to helping others. We're looking forward to those winners that are going to be in that space with us, right? So we're going to make that announcement.
Excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. So I can't wait. We're going to make that announcement next week, give or take Friday or by Monday, which is MLK Day, right? We should know
Yes.
holiday MLK here in the States if you're watching the replay, and see who our winners will be. So, again, we're going to drop the questions in the description right after this live. So, be on the lookout for that and go from there. And again, you can respond within the comments and/or you can respond to our email, and we'll go through those and see. Okay. Oh, Sean said that's a wonderful okay, that's what's say. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. I look forward to next time. Have a great evening. Yes, thank you for being here.
Yes.
Awesome. So
Thank
thank you again, Sean. Uh, Thank you, Sean. Right. Thank you again, Elsa, um, for gracing us with your presence and answering the call to be a part of this community and sharing your gift. And like I said, thank you both for being such gracious hosts. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being such a gracious audience and keeping the chat going and being here and loving and supporting when you can. So thank you. So
Thank you, everyone. Thank
yeah,
you for having me. And I'm thrilled to be here, seriously. And this has been an honor and a pleasure for me to be here.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. And the pleasure is all mine. As I say on my channel as I end, let us continue to learn, grow, share together naturally. That's just true heart and passion of mine. Okay. Black Women Build Wealth ends us out. That says, this was such a great session. Thank you always bringing amazing guests, Danny. You're more than welcome. And thank you to our guests. And she says, thanks, Elsa. So we're going to end the live. I'm going to ask you to stay on, Elsa. Thank you all for being here, and good night, y'all. And be on the lookout for those questions. All right, now. Good night.